do you focus on kindness and goodness?
I can tell you it took a lot of time, took a lot of practice.
Mm.
Um, as a college graduate, 20 something year old, I go move down to Texas and go work for the Border Patrol, and I'm all motivated and excited to just, I don't even know what I'm doing exactly yet down there. I just go down there and start working and getting after it. And you have, of course, politics is always going to play a role. You have this politic group, and then you have this one, and then you move back to this one in the duration of the 10 years that I spent in the Border Patrol. And you kind of feel like your job, you're getting yanked around back and forth, and you have a lot of coworkers that get frustrated with it and um, let their frustrations be known, and it starts affecting them and how they work, and you can start to feel that get passed on to you or myself as well.
Mm.
And it's like, how do you not let that become your whole identity when that's what you do for work or something along those lines? And then we started something in the law enforcement world and EMS, and that's got passed off to is they pass on resiliency is something big that they talk about is. And I think the Detroit Lions have picked that up now as well.
Yeah.
The Michigan State Police, they've picked up resiliency. And just when things aren't great, because you could always look at the world and find something that's not going wrong. You could pick something out that wasn't quite perfect enough. But if you can pick out what is going right, what is good at the time, and you focus on that, it'll make you a much happier person and more enjoyable. I think everyone kind of knows their own coworkers or perhaps family members that they've been around and they're just crabby or everything's always negative. You could even try and be positive with them. Hey, I see you're got a new car out there. Yeah, I got a new car, but it's not shiny enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
You have some example of that. You'd be like, this person just got a new car and they're complaining about it already. Like, how? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it takes a lot of intentionality to see the good in people or in a situation, I think.
So I was in the Border Patrol for 10 years after college. And then after the Border Patrol, I moved back up here to Michigan. And I didn't know it was the plan, but I jumped into EMS for about a year and a half. And then in EMS, you work really long shifts, long hours. You get a lot of downtime, but then of course the calls come in at probably the most inopportune time. And you have a lot of repeat callers, the same people call over and over again for the same thing.
Mm.
And that's something where you can start to feel the frustration and the anger from, because it's never going to be at the most opportune time. It'll be 2, 3 in the morning when perhaps you had something going on that day or you have something going on the next day and you feel like you need to get some sleep and you're not going to. And as soon as the call comes out, you realize it's that same person that slides or falls out of bed in the middle of the night going to the bathroom and they need help to get up. And you start to feel that tenseness and that frustration grow as you're going to the call.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say I took a practice and it took that intentionality we were talking about to not approach those calls with that frustration and anger. You have to start looking at, okay, this person is calling us because they don't have family that they live with. They don't have somebody in their life to come and do that for them and help them and take care of them. And I do truly love helping and taking care of people. That was one of the biggest things I found out about myself when I was going through these different jobs is I love to help people. One part where I start to see my frustration grow a little bit is when you come to people and they might have some of that helplessness to them. Like, you have to do something, this needs to be dealt with, I can't do anything about this. And you start to feel frustrated because you're like, you can do something about it. You have to try, you have to put in effort. But then you got to stop those thoughts. You got to say, nope, stop, hard stop right there. You got to change your mindset of this isn't these thoughts I'm having isn't about them. It's about me, right?
Hmm.
So I need to figure out kindness to show them.
Yeah, what does kindness look like for you in your everyday life? How do you receive it and how do you show it?
Kindness is free. It shouldn't cost anything and doesn't cost you anything to give somebody kindness. So somebody shouldn't have to earn your kindness. You shouldn't have to be around that person for a while for them to finally be kind to you. It should just come from everybody and should be given to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I know with my recent job change and everything, there's a lot of people being anxious about the new job and like, oh, they're gonna treat you poorly when you're brand new because that's just what you do when you're brand new to a new place, and they're not gonna be fair. And but when I showed up to my new place of work where I'm at now with MSP, everyone's been super kind. They've been very welcoming, and that didn't cost them anything. And
Mm.
in turn, of course, I'm going to show up and be super kind to them as well. I think going and being new to MSP, going and taking calls as well, it's very overwhelming because when you're learning everything brand new, but there's the sheer call volume, how busy we are, and then there's just not enough people doing the job. So you just feel like you're taking calls, you're looking at the list piling up, and you're trying to put out fires. And
Mm-hmm.
you call somebody who wants to maybe tell you about there's too many speeders down the road. You want to end that call quickly, just get through it in a few minutes. And they want to sit there and talk about this and then their next problem. They want you to kind of be their own personal trooper that can fix all their problems for them. There's
Your
maybe
own
nothing
personal trooper.
there's maybe nothing you can do for them because there's nothing criminal right there at that moment. But I think just figuring out to sit there for a while and listen to them and just say, I hear you, I understand you're having those problems, and then say, okay, there might not be anything criminal I can help you with, but maybe I can talk to different people. There's different resources. I can talk to other shifts of maybe having somebody patrol through there a little more, show more face to help those speeders, for example. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was a way more recently that I um, found a way when I felt really overwhelmed and busy to show kindness was just sitting on the phone for a little bit longer with that person to truly listen to everything they had to say.
How do you remain open-hearted instead of defensive and judgmental?
Maybe seeing other examples that were not great examples of previous coworkers, showing that frustration, not being open-hearted, not being understanding. And once you see it happening in front of you from somebody to somebody else, that's not the kindness that you want to spread and share. I think that's one way of seeing it and taking time to realize that's not how you want to be. The other way is I always kind of thought of as you hear perhaps like people giving debates or doing debates, it's all about the ahas and I got you. Is there
Mm-hmm.
any listening happening on any sort of debates? When has anybody ever had their mind changed when they're arguing or fighting or going bickering back and forth with somebody? Is that really are you gonna make your point known and change that person's mind? No, you're just gonna put up more walls and be defensive. Realize I'm probably not gonna change their mind by arguing with them about it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe just show kindness, lead by example, be the
Mm-hmm.
example of treating people nicely and kind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's pivot a little bit and talk about your family life because one of your most important jobs as a caregiver is being a dad and a
Yes.
husband. Um, so, will you just share a little bit about your family and who you are and how you find kindness and goodness in the midst of that life?
I like to stay very busy, and I always kind of have a plan from the moment I wake up in my head of how I would like things to go or all the things I'd like to get accomplished that day. And then having 3 kids, they don't always see your plan the same way you might see your plan, especially when they're 3, 4, and 10 years old.
100%. Yeah.
And I would say that's the part where I definitely started to get frustrated when I wanted to, in the morning, get the dishes done, get the house picked up, get the lawn mowed, work on that light that was burnt out and didn't work. Oh, then we also have this to go to. We have that to go to. And you can start to feel it all really build up on you. And then let's say the kid has an accident or one of the kids spills something, then those start thrown on top of that list. And if you get too caught up in the list that you had in your mind, all these other things going in there, that's just life getting thrown on top of it, can really start to set you over the top. And that's where I think I haven't done a great job with being very kind with my family and the kids, is I start to get very frustrated, and I need to make sure that I remind myself. And this is an ongoing practice. I've gotten better over the years. Let's just take everything off the list so you have less expectations from yourself to get those checked off that list. And whatever the kids start throwing in there won't seem to overwhelm it as much. That's kind of how I seem to work with it, is having that list or that mental list of everything on there. And if you can take your whole list and then maybe chuck it to the side and just put 2 things on it. So then when you do get your list accomplished, you feel better about yourself, and you won't be so crabby to the kids when you don't get something accomplished that's on your list that you're really hoping to get.
Talk about Jenny a little bit. She's certainly a source of goodness in your life.
Definitely. I was kind of going over when I've received grace in my life instead of getting judgment back. And Jenny would definitely be one of them. She's been a rock star. She's a working mom. She has like 2 masters. She has a professional job on her end that she does. And we have the 3 kids we take care of. Through my different jobs I've done with the Border Patrol, I was gone a ton from the household. Jumped in EMS, which was working tons of hours and being gone overnight a lot. And now I was just gone for 5 months at the police academy, where it was her taking on, the house all by herself and doing everything. And she's somebody who is always really good at showing understanding and giving grace. Probably a lot of the times when I don't always deserve it either. When I can be, if I'm getting crabby or not doing the best to reciprocate how grateful I am to her. She's been fantastic. She's a rock star.
One of my favorite musicals is Les Mis. And there's a line from that musical that says, "To love another person is to see the face of God." And I always think about that with my spouse and just how much grace Joel gives me and how much love I'm offered without necessarily deserving it, and how much goodness we have created in our marriage and in our family life. And that's the best example of God's grace and love that I know, is with my spouse. And I hear you saying some of those same things about Jenny.
Fun fact is, you brought up Les Mis. Jenny and I got engaged at the theater show Les Mis when it was at Western.
Oh, wow.
So we got engaged at that show, which was really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And how long have you guys been married?
It was July 12th, 2014. So this summer will be 12 years in about a month.
12 years.
So, yeah.
And you've seen a lot of change in those 12 years between
a lot.
Kids and careers and education and a move from Texas to Michigan.
Yeah, from when we started dating in Michigan, we've had, I think, 5 different moves between us and the 3 kids, and a lot of career changes in different directions, and kind of just know everything happens for a reason. So you work really hard for the direction you want to go, but if one door closes, it's God's way of saying, He has a different direction for you.